All right, and we are live. Welcome, welcome one and all to New York by Night, the living world of darkness, where dastardly deeds are afoot and the Camarilla Scooby Gang is out to investigate once again. If you are not speaking, please mute yourself. Thank you. It harms my beautiful baritone voice. Now, onwards we go, and into the scene we shall head without further ado and without too much more waxing lyrical from me, because before the scene indeed does take place, there is a bit of contact that needs to be made, but between the two Nosferatu of the city. Uh, Here I think I might just quickly cut to them for a few minutes, as one of them is unaware of the crimes that have been committed, and probably should be. On to you, gentlemen.
Alex Dales, as he walks through his usual haunts in the underground, spots a mouse, and he's pretty sure he's seen this mouse before. He kneels down next to it and says, "Are you one of Goblin's little ones?" Goblin, you can paraphrase for him if you like.
The master himself. Yes. Do you need a message?
Yes, please, little one. I would like to tell him of crimes that have gone afoot in the surface world. If there's been a murder and a ghastly mutilation, and if he would like to help us solve this crime, he is more than welcome to join us.
And what is your command? Shall I go now?
Yes, go, with all due speed.
And the mouse scurries around over into a hole in the wall and disappears. And sometime later, Goblin somehow makes his way out of the sewers, out of the warren, onto the streets of New York to meet up with his fellow Nosferatu.
Fade to black now. We zoom our camera back into one of the nicer parts of Harlem, as it were, as it is often described by one Mr. Limey. And here we find Limey just sitting, contemplative, perhaps, at his bar, again, a hand resting on the cold, cold glass of a very heavy glass tumbler, the liquor inside remaining undrunk, the ice melting into it, in a almost usual fashion for him, just contemplating the condensation that is forming, not really thinking about too much other than the state of the world, almost dozing off until he gets a tap on the shoulder from one of his employees, the one that he spoke to not too long ago, in relation to that snuff film, that photo that got leaked. Neil, he's white. He's pale white. He looks like he's seen a ghost. And he'll just say, "Boss, got a minute?"
Limey kind of slowly looks up from a glass of whiskey and he sort of says, yeah, I've got plenty of time. You want to take it somewhere more private?
No need, boss.
Fine.
We'll work here, man. That alley, found it.
Really?
He just looks away. It's like he can't make eye contact. Yeah, found it. Didn't go in. Police tape on it though. It's got to be real, man. Who the fuck does that shit?
Yeah, I saw the photo. Managed to get hold of a copy. Heavy, man, heavy. So where is it?
He just looks down at the glass of whiskey on the bar, licks his lips. Boss, don't mean to beg, but you can drink that.
Limey kind of sighs and looks down at the whiskey, then sort of just with the back of his hand shifts it, a few inches towards the guy. Says, "Go ahead."
The guy downs it. Not a second thought. Just straight down. I knock my headset off like a boss. Downs it. Not a second thought. Doesn't even touch the sides, as it were. And he'll say, "Well, that's the heavy bit, boss. It's not far. Not far at all, man. Matter of
Limey,
fact." No, go on.
Limey kind of, as he looks back down, he kind of freezes as he says it's not far. Then kind of looks back at him and says, "What do you mean it's not far?"
Underneath the whiskey glass, there's a coaster advertising the bar, Limey's bar. And on the flip side, there's a little mini map of how to find the bar. Goes a couple of blocks out, not too far, but just one of those flip over, here's where you want to go. And he'll flip it over. And just towards the edge of the coaster, he'll just point with one dirty, gritty fingernail. It's within the square of the coaster. And I'll let Limey describe where, because he does know, out of character. And now in character.
Yeah, Limey kind of massages his temple. He looks down. He says, "Right, thank you very much." And he kind of fumbles in his jacket pocket and slips out, sort of $50 out of a money clip, and he kind of pushes it across the bar and says, "Buy yourself something pretty." Right, sort of shoos him away with a hand.
He'll take the cash, quite obviously. I mean, you don't send no to your boss. And sort of just looking over his shoulder, not even looking over his shoulder, but he takes a step back from your Limey and just says, "It's not the Mad Dogs, is it? Not this time."
No, it's not. No. Anyway,
Tell you
off you
what
pop.
then, we need to do something about that gang. They beat up the girls of one of ours. Left her paraplegic almost.
It'll be dealt with. And he sort of shoots him a glance, and he's like, "I've got business. Go on, poodle off." He kind of, sort of looks back down and kind of studies his fingernails before pulling a phone out and sending a text to Frank Green saying, "Sup, boss? I've found the alley."
Fantastic. You'll probably get a text within moments, seconds, if any, saying, "Fair enough. Meet up?" Question mark.
Just sends
Sorry,
back.
what was that?
I was just going to say sends back. Yeah, but of course.
Alright. Use this opportunity, please, to gather the Scooby Gang. I will hand over to you.
All right. Frank Green goes ahead and takes a burner phone out of his pocket, goes through the list of numbers he is to text tonight. One going to a famous novel writer, Rick Grayson, sending him a text. Pretty much, it's 2 words. Actually, it's just the 1 word. Cold. Cellar. 1 word. That's pretty much it. Go there. Now. That's it. He goes ahead and he also extends that message to Alex as well. Coal cellar. Now. Sends one more text out that he didn't expect to actually have to send, but wants to get her take on it at least. Sends a few more text messages to Kindred who don't really answer, but he sends one more to Rose. Wholesaler. Now. And then to the prince, Mr. Silas anyways. He goes ahead and texts sheriff's posse, coal cellar, now. Well, fair enough. If I only have your email, I go ahead and pick up a smartphone, go ahead and put in your email address, and just simply text coal cellar now to the Rose email.
Alex turns to Goblin, almost as he shows up, and says, "So, you ready to go to the cold cellar?"
Why aren't we already there?
And the two Nosferatu. And Alex leads Marco to his white van, and they start to head out.
I hope you can drive.
I always let Sam drive, unless things have gone awfully wrong.
Great.
Alright, without nary ado, Frank Green is going to go ahead and fast forward his own movements to when he finally reaches the front facade of the coal cellar, and he'll go through the general security routine that has already been set up by Limey, that he has gone through several times before anyways. He'll go ahead and meet and greet with Limey, going, okay, everybody's coming here now.
That seems to be the way of things lately, Mr. Green. We'll wait here for them until they arrive, then we'll, said this for the third time this week, then we'll head out back.
Fair enough. We'll go ahead and describe all the particulars when they finally get here. No use going over old ground again and again and again.
No.
Indeed, no. Alex, your phone rings and your police contact will call you. He sounds nervous, and I'm not going to roleplay it out because my connection is shit and I don't have the time, unfortunately. He gives you the name Carolyn Wills. He'll just nervously sputter about leaving the force, that this is enough. This has got him at the end of his wits. She has been identified as a Carolyn Wills. She works at a renewable energy company called Terra Firma. It's a small company, just started up, no funding really just yet, a couple of offices, second-hand computers, that kind of thing from what you're understanding on the description. But you have a name, and you have a place of work. If you would like to ask this guy any questions, go ahead and do so now.
How do you think this Carolyn Wills got picked up? I assume she was snatched and then this happened to her. Does she live in the area, or?
You can just hear him almost gag at the notion that that she was taken apart when she was still alive. You can just hear him almost with all of his I hope that she wasn't alive when this started, but you can never tell these fucks. He will give you an address of the apartment that she rents, and
Okay.
it is on a bus route. I'll give you that much. It's not too far. It's still within the Harlem area, and it's within a bus stop. You could pretty much take a bus from a block outside her work, and then to her apartment, and it will be a 5-minute ride and a 5-minute walk from the stops.
Okay. What has the police called this type of thing anyway, or have they not yet? And have they made any connection to the other strange event or strange murder between this and that, or this and that murder, or the
You can
murder in
just
the
hear
park.
him sigh over the phone. That nice big deep sigh. And conversation that goes back along the lines of the first conversation you had with him. He just goes, "We don't call it anything other than fucking sick, man. We don't call it anything else but fucking sick. I don't know what these people are getting up to in their private lives, and I personally don't want to care. I'm leaving the force, man. This is it. This is it. I'm out. I'm out." And he hangs up.
Okay, I'm going to text him if he wants help setting up a private investigation agency to let me know.
There is no response. Not for the rest of the scene.
Okay.
And you know in your heart that he's gone back home to cuddle his wife and take some Prozac.
Yeah. Feel bad for the guy, and I've only interacted with him 3 times.
Yeah, we might have to start looking at your humanity, young man. In the meantime, the entourage arrives at Cole's cellar. Da 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 da! Over to you, lovely gentleman and lady.
Are Frank and Limey already there?
Yeah. It's basically, I won't go through describing the whole thing because it's too long and expansive. But essentially, you walk into a doorway. It's relatively nondescript except for some neon red lettering that says Cole's Cellar. You walk inside to a dimly lit hallway and down a relatively long flight of stairs, which you can hear jazz coming from, and you enter a dimly lit club.
Okay. Rick and Isabel will arrive together in a taxi, and they'll head on in.
You pass a bouncer, a couple of sort of jazz types smoking outside. You enter included.
Should we wait for the others to arrive before we continue role-playing that part of the scene?
Alright, so here's how it's going to go down. It's going to go down that Limey makes the text, gets in contact with Frank. Frank gets in contact with everyone else. Frank is the first to show up. He and Limey have a bit of a yarn about this, that, and the other, and pretty much agree on not worrying too much about getting too many details out there before the entire gang arrives. Over the course of the next hour and a half, the gang does indeed arrive, and whilst initial pleasantries are made, the actual plotting and speculation doesn't happen until they're all present, which is now.
Right, everybody. What do we have?
Well,
Yeah.
a certain Caroline Williams, that is the name to go with the wind chime, and she lived. Oh, Caroline. I'm sorry, Blue. What is it again?
No, you didn't remember. I'm sorry.
I have eidetic memory.
Wills. Carolyn Wills.
Carolyn Wills. I'm sorry. Carolyn
Go on.
Wills. Wilst. Sorry. Carolyn Wilst. And she lives a
Right,
few.
I'm going to write it out for you.
Yes, please. Thank you.
That's how I'm going to pronounce it. I don't care.
Good on ya. Carolyn Wills, like Bruce Wills.
Okay.
All right, go on.
Carolyn Wills. She lived a few blocks from here, and she could have been taken any time between getting off of public transport and going to her house.
We also know where the body was found. One of my boys got back to me. It's 147th Street, an alley off it. It's only It's only a couple of blocks from him. And Limey looks a little bit worried because he said how big it is.
Okay, right. Okay. The body was found, where exactly?
It was, I believe, found draped over a grate. Am I right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It was found a little way into the alley, from my understanding. There's a bit of a tangle there. Shouldn't be too hard to find the location though. There's police tape draped all around it.
Police tape, you say? So they're actually investigating this. Well, fudge. Kind of hoping to get it in before or after, but we have to do it during. We'll just have to be super duper extra careful. Okay. Alex, you said that her place of residence was relatively close to where her body was found?
Yeah. About as far away from this place as Lonnie's bar is.
Okay, so we have a pattern that we're looking at. In Harlem, just a few blocks from this place, we have the presentation of her mangled corpse. She lives presumably within the area. She may have been abducted she may have been abducted while walking around, or she could have been abducted in her own home. Let's not forget that one. But in any case, like we did with the first investigation, we need to at least walk the crime scene to see what's out there. Now, this being a much more gruesome case, that makes it a lot more complicated, simply because police response is going to be a little bit tighter this time. Do we have anybody here that is able to help us at least stay unnoticed?
I might have a few friends in the right places that might be able to clear the police from the area for a little while. I'll have to make a call.
That would definitely help out.
Okay, how many dots of Underworld do you have, Limey?
I have 2 dots of Underworld, and I've just put the Underworld guide on the forum, and it says that I can lean on police with that now, as long as it's cool with you, of course.
Okay. Off in the distance, you make a phone call, and off in the distance, somebody answers their phone call. You speak to your contact, as it were, and pretty much tell him that you need the police cleared out of the Harlem area. When he inquires why, he does these ones like, yeah, sure, why you want him gone? Actually, none of my business. Consider it done, boss.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Tomorrow night on the news, you will see footage of a office block having Molotovs thrown at it. Pretty much the entire Harlem police force being dragged that way. Conveniently, right across the city from you. Very convenient. Wonder how that happened.
Limey will step back to the table and stop his phone and kind of say, continue.
Fair enough. If we have a little bit of a leeway, a little bit of a window to operate in, makes things a lot easier. Question is, where do we want to go? We have the crime scene, we have the residence as well. That's a little bit of a bus ride away. We can definitely take that. Do we know anything else about the victim?
I've got nothing, boss.
Not about the victim.
Rick will chime in at this point. It might be interesting to find out more about the victim themselves, where this is turning out to seem more and more a artistic endeavor. There may be a reason why this victim was given a more elaborate treatment than the last.
Yes.
Oh,
Mr. Lemmy. I was thinking, is there a way that you could maybe look into former cases? I have a feeling that there might be 9 interesting cases that could be helpful, but might not necessarily be connected already to this.
Do you have any distinguishing characteristics to the cases, or do you just have the number?
9 empty eggs.
So you have nothing. I'm sorry.
No, it's just a question. It might not even be anything.
Are we talking about the trippy shit that went down the other night?
Hmm. Yes,
Yeah.
and later on again.
I had a couple of thoughts about that. And he kind of looks at Frank and raises an eyebrow. Sort of suggests, like, maybe we don't want to talk about it right now.
It might be useful to go after other cases, but until we have anything concrete, it's just going to be a wasted effort.
I wasn't saying like right now, Mr. Green.
Of course not. In any case, what else do we know about the victim? We know where she lives. We know where her body was dumped off. We know very, very little about our dear friend Dennis before his demise, other than that he was simply a trucker, an out-of-towner. The fact that this person, this other victim, happens to be a resident of the city offers us many opportunities to go ahead and make another link, make another connection. The only reason I'm suggesting that we go to the apartment right now is simply because I assume she may have been abducted there because she spends most of her time there, or she just got really, really unlucky from her own bus stop to her apartment. However, now that we have a big enough window, we need to take advantage of it. We need to go after the crime scene. We need to pick up as many pieces of evidence as we possibly can. Perhaps we can use some of our old evidence from the first site in this one. Bleach? Maybe. But I'm thinking something smaller. Maybe cigarette butts, actually. I don't know why that's important to me right now, but trash. Trash that can be identified to a single person or a single user. I don't know why it's important, but it's an idea I just had. And I look, and then Frank Green looks over to Rick Grayson, right?
Rick will just say nothing and nod at Frank.
Here's what I do not want. I do not want for us to get nothing out of this and yet have another couple of wind chimes down the week. We've seen how this person operates. He can do this fast. He can do this relatively quickly, and he or she can do it under our notice very quickly. I do not want to see 10 more of these human wind chimes in my city. Clear?
Works for me, boss.
Right. I need somebody who's very, very good at keeping us all very, very silent and unseen. And then I need you all to go ahead and take one of those bags. Frank Green has brought over a few duffel bags, murder, as he is wont to call it.
Lava kind of slaps to his feet, takes one of the bags and unzips it. What's in the bag?
You see mostly the same kit that he had before: glow sticks, latex gloves, baggies, a taser in there as well. Just a meticulous sort of stuff. It's his standard kit.
I kind of zips it back up and says, "Yeah, sure."
Frank goes ahead and looks over to the small Nosferatu that he hasn't actually had the opportunity to talk at long length for, and just says, "Goblin, how we doing these nights?"
Good evening, Master Sheriff. Quite fine, quite fine. You needed someone to hide you.
Yes. how skilled are you in your clan's particular discipline?
Let's see. I think that's enough for one. Frank Green becomes a bit ghost-like for the others. Starting to fade out a bit. As he's using Vanish Mind's Eye on Frank Green.
Lammy kind of looks over at Frank, like, sort of really got a tweaked out expression.
I think he's pretty good. You did go a little.
It's difficult to do when people are watching, but let's see, there's... Okay. Alex, I don't have to hide.
No, you don't have to hide me.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see.
I'm going to
we'll
jump in
hit-
here and make it briefly easier for Goblin.
Yeah.
As I'm literally going to go over to the door, because I'm obfuscated, go to the other side of the door, come out the door, as if I've just arrived. So when people look my direction, it's briefly easier for you to do what you're doing on the side.
And Goblin will actually make 4 people disappear while they're looking at Mr. Silas.
Good evening.
Lammy kind of looks over at gets his feet. Good evening, my prince.
Evening. Have you met the new blood? And he'll gesture over to Isabel and actually Celio, who has come along.
You
with him.
realise when you do that, due to Goblin having recently used his ability, are not there. Who? I'm sorry.
God damn it, Nosferatu!
Rick will just raise a brow and look around, and then look at Goblin.
And he's also God.
He's gone too. Okay. He'll look to Silas then, and then just smile. Well, you'll meet them at some point.
I'm sure. So I trust you're all up to speed with Green's investigations, and you're all cooperating nicely.
We're working on it now, I believe. And he'll look back over to, well, not Frank Green, but where Frank Green was.
Excellent. In which case, why don't you catch me up on the progress that you've made so far? No, give me the cliff notes.
We can unban.
Who is still in the room? Visible.
Hi, Frank Green says, breaking obfuscate. Mr. Silas, we currently have identified the victim within the photograph that is currently circulating around. Her name happens to be Caroline Williams. We have the location of her apartment where between... Yeah, Wills. In any case, where between where her body was discovered and her place of residence, she was abducted. We have plans to go ahead and walk the crime scene as well as the place of residence, and we currently have the police otherwise occupied during tonight.
I see. Nothing too extreme, I hope.
Nothing too extreme, of course.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to be paying attention on my side. making sure there aren't any particular incidents. So I will be helping out.
All right, all right. Now, what this window does provide us is an opportunity to go over both scenes as at our leisure, but I would like to go ahead and do it simultaneously, just so that we maximize this particular window we have. Frank Green will go ahead and look over the entire congregation. Okay, which one of you thinks that you can run a crime scene?
Alex will raise his hand.
Sheriff Green will go ahead and shake his head.
To Rick Grayson.
Sorry, what, Limey?
So, Limey points at Rick Grayson and kind of nods his head towards him, like, you can run a crime scene, can't you, mate?
Well, I did see some things at the last one, but I believe Frank found more than I did.
I did, but it was an open environment where I could call upon my people more easily. Rick Grayson, if you think you can handle it, go ahead and take. Actually, since you seem to be so buddy-buddy with them, take the new people with you, as well as somebody that's going to help you keep yourself undetected. I'll go ahead and drag somebody else along that'll keep us undetected as well, and investigate the scene.
So, where are we all going?
I'm going to go ahead and take a few of you with me to where the body was found. The rest of you will go ahead and follow Rick Grayson over there to the apartment to see what kind of connections you can find. I want anything and everything about this particular woman and how she may be related, and I want to see where in the world her life went topsy-turvy. If there's any evidence there of struggle, I want to know it. And if you have to go outside and track her path to where she was abducted, do that as well. I'll be going at it from the other angle.
Could I request that I could take the alley? It's closest to my home turf, as it were.
Sure.
Well, I have no experience with anything crime related, so where can I be of best use?
I'd like to take us to the alley, Mr. Green. But that's just.
It's really a toss-up. Where are you most useful?
Rose, can I quickly just jump in here? Have you told them what you've read off the bleach canister yet?
Yeah, well, I've told Mr. Grayson, and I've sent a note to Frank Green, but it happened in the scene that I still have to fucking upload.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that particular note, yeah, Frank Green has it in his pocket right now. Anybody gonna mention it?
I don't know about it.
Rose, mention it.
Please.
Note, note, bleach, in your pocket. There you have it.
Okay, fair enough. Frank Green goes ahead and walks his fingers into his pocket and simply says, right, besides the victim, apparently we have a description of one of the suspects that we currently have. He goes ahead and rifles through the envelope, flips it open. Right. From what I can tell by this description, we're actually looking for a small, delicate figure, possibly feminine, but don't let that detract you. She was wearing black long sleeves and gloves to prepare the body, so there you go.
Blue
She
eyes.
has blue eyes, and that's pretty much the only distinguishing feature that we have. Our suspect is small. She looks fragile, if it's She also has blue eyes. Again, this is going to be a gender neutral type thing. And for some reason or another, she was humming classical music. He goes ahead and ends the note. Be mindful of that particular individual if you see him or her.
Alex looks to where Goblin was, or where Goblin is, considering if he's still obfuscated or not, and looks at Frank. Could you differentiate between normal small and me and my friend small, or was it just a general idea of small?
Short. I don't believe this note actually details the exact height, if you're wanting that information.
Okay.
Anything else I happen to missed?
No, I think we have it all. Out of curiosity, has anyone shown the prince the photos?
I don't have a copy.
I do have the photos again in my pocket.
If you'd like to describe, for the sake of the scene and the people that don't know.
Oh, of course, of course, of course. Let me
Right,
go ahead
let's
and...
have a look at the specifics then, shall we?
Oh, yeah. Frank Green is just going to go ahead and... there you are. Go ahead, take an envelope from his jacket, and hand it over to the prince for him to look at.
Right, what are we dealing with here?
Inside are two black and white photographs on A4 paper. They show a woman's body flayed, splayed over a grate that tops an alley. Really, it's just bloody, stretchy mess of skin that sort of hangs like grocery bags, like plastic grocery bags, like a sack of gore atop the crate. And from the limbs and the arms and legs and just whatever body part there dangles bone. It just seems to be attached by, not by wires, oh hell no, if only it was wires, but sinew, muscle, nerves, all hanging from the body mass on top. Seems to hang like wind chimes, like one big human wind chime.
Looks a bit similar to some of the old executions back in Spain, roughly 18th century. Used to dangle people upside down. There'll be a saw ready. You'd go all the way down and splay them out as a warning to, well, any other criminal or evildoer, apparently.
Okay.
You know, they once even managed to get all the way down to the head with the saw before the victim actually died.
That's disturbing.
Yeah. Well, that was what the entire technique was designed around, and the people that used to perform it got very, very good at it.
All right. Anything else? I don't think we need to daddle anymore. I mean, the window is closing, people.
Okay. Well, take the whole window, but sometimes it's worth having a look at the history of certain things, see where this killer got their inspirations from.
Alright, so who's going to the crime scene? Who's going to the flat? Let's divvy it.
Crime scene.
Crime.
Probably crime.
Rose.
Well,
Who else have we got? The Nosferatu brothers? Triplets?
Master
Well, I'll
Frank,
be doing...
I think I'll be going to the other than you are.
Is my personal attention going to be required, Mr. Green, or shall I handle matters in the background?
I would like you to handle most of the matters in the background. However, if something were to happen, I would like you on field with the person, or at least the party, that doesn't have the obfuscator.
I see. I see. In which case, I can be nearby. I can operate mobilely. So just give me a call, and I can be where you need me rather quickly. I have a bit of a history with Harlem. I know the specifics of that place.
Fantastic. He's looking over to the new people and says, "Do you understand what you're getting into?"
Isabel will speak up finally and kind of meekly say, I think I understand.
Looks over to the Venture.
Silo would just say, yeah, it was more or less explained before I got here. This is going to be dangerous.
Alright. Frank Green goes ahead and takes his own bag. Goes ahead and looks towards Rose, Limey, Goblin. Says, "You're all, we're with me." And goes ahead and walks to the door.
Alright, let's do this, people. Lemmy kind of gets up and he shoves on a coat. And for purposes of just in case armor comes into it, it's a big, thick, kind of Soulman trench coat.
Alrighty, for the simple reason that I don't think that my internet connection can handle this many people in Hangout, we will at this point split the investigation. I would like all the people that are going to investigate the crime scene to remain in this Hangout. Everyone that wants to do the flat and the investigation of the apartment and of Carolyn Wills, please drop a note into my private messages on Facebook and I will ping you very soon and we will run that scene. Thank you. Alright.
Right. Since I'm going to be a little bit in the background, I'm just going to stick around for a little bit of both, and so they can just both contact me. There's one extra person. I'm going to be fairly quiet in the background.
No worries. Take your time and stick around and do all the background work. Excellent.
Yeah.
A Prince of the People. Wonderful. Get a little certificate at the end of the year and a gold watch. Okay.
A platinum watch, I'll have you know.
With diamantes in, Jesus. Gonna go out there and mine an asteroid for that shit.
Sure. Considerably better than that petty little watch the bishops get. Psh.
Enough. Alright.
Margot, I was wondering if I could... oh, sorry,
Okay, so... So did I get sent to the apartment then?
Yep. I trust you with the apartment, because that's where most of the clues are actually going to come from. I'm not kidding about that.
Okay, good.
I need you there.
Very good.
Mr.
I
Limey.
was... Oh, sorry. I was wondering if I could make my usual thing to arrange to have a couple of vans, in case, things go sour and people need an emergency exit. I'll just have a van at each location that people can run to.
You can have one van. One van only, because most of your contacts are offsetting fires and distracting the police.
Okay, cool, we can do that instead. In that case,
you can have one van waiting. So which location would you like to have the van at?
I will have the van arranged for the alleyway because fuck it.
Because you're there. Right.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
No worries. Alrighty, without further ado, let us move our focus, move our vision move our attention to the alleyway where you park. You get there. You drive. You could walk, but it might look a bit silly, and like an 80s video clip of all of you walking down the street, especially with dare I say, Rose being quite noticeable. So.
Nope. She's wearing she's wearing her motor helmets.
That's what she means by noticeable. You walking down the street with a big ass motorcycle helmet, like, Nope,
Okay.
nothing wrong here.
That's why you
So,
have to obfuscate monkey with you.
That's of
okay.
course, duh.
Oh,
In which
okay.
case, would
Very
you like
well.
to
I will let
obfuscate
that one
her
go.
for herself?
I can obfuscate myself. That's no problem.
All right, brilliant. Even though one day I would like to see all of you dressed as Power Rangers, because then Rose won't stand out. Okie dokie. The city itself is again full of lights, and Harlem itself not being immune to the technologies that have spread from the city centre and its heart, the neon lights, the sometimes near hologram type projections that advertise this and that. Again, the throng of people and humanity, people on their phones, the phones ringing, a multitude, a myriad of sounds, smells, sensations that the vampiric body is now so much more attuned to. But as you approach the alleyway, there's a certain sense that comes over all of you. It's as though people know that something horrid has happened here, and quite obviously it has. And it's almost like approaching the one dead tree in a forest. You see it from afar, and you know it's there, but it doesn't make the approach easier. And so we shall begin across the street from the alley. There is maybe one or two people walking the streets. The jackets that they're wearing, even the light, almost business shirt-esque type shirts that are quite common in the summer times. The collars will be up at the back. People will have their hands in their pockets, and it's like there's something in the air that makes you want to quicken your pace as you pass. You don't have to roll for it, but some will sense it more than others. And for those who do have the oracular ability, and for those that do have a bit of extra sense, it will be all the more poignant in the air. You're across the street. The occasional car flits past. From the left of you, there's a streetlight illuminating and making it almost a chaotic mix of the streetlight, reds, oranges, and greens, mixed in with the bright glaring lights of the cityscape above. Across from you, there is an alley. It has a singular blue garbage bin in the entranceway and enough room to file past quite easily. Atop it, there is a grate, and atop the grate, there are spikes, about yay long, just the length of a pencil. They're obviously there to deter pigeons, and they obviously would have held a certain something in place. Enter scene, Madame and Monsieur.
Look to our friendly goblin friend.
Yes.
Showtime.
And everyone gets obfuscate.
Yay! I'm gonna ride this obfuscate all the way down. With that, Frank Green is going to go ahead and make sure he can actually cross the road, because he knows for a fact that if he gets hit, he has fortitude, but that'll definitely break the obfuscation. Just realized how silly that sounded. But in any case, he'll
Well,
actually go ahead.
fortunately, the abilities of obfuscation means that if you do get hit by the car, once it actually kicks in and your obfuscation is broken, they'll remember that you walked in front. They just obviously, for some reason, didn't see you. No masquerade breach. It's built in.
Oh yeah, I know, but I'm gonna suffer damage.
It's just dashing, man.
In
What are you,
any
baby?
case, yes, I
Game
am, baby.
faces, people.
Walking towards the entrance of the alleyway, actually. And once I'm at the entrance of these and exits, and how in the fucking world to get on the roof?
You get there, and it's not actually a grate that's right on top of the roof. It is more or less about 3 meters up. The very tallest of you might be able to jump and tap it, but it's there simply to deter pigeons coming down, people crawling over the alley from the other side, and then going up to the living quarters above.
Okay. I may be a little bit ignorant about what exactly this grate is and its purpose, but
There's no fucking reason for it to be there. But it has pigeon spikes on, so it's obviously been there for a while.
interesting. I look at the building to my left and to my right. What can I tell about the building just by looking at the facade?
Red brick, they're reasonably old. Where the grate attaches into them, they've been screwed in by large dynabolts. These are partially rusted and don't look like they could hold too much weight. It's obviously been there a while. The pigeon spikes, however, are new. So some idiot, rather than just removing this fucking grate, has gone ahead and put more money into it by adding the pigeon spikes. Yay for city planning.
Yay. Okay.
You roll me something. Roll me some dice. Roll me some Percept Investigate, huh?
Okay, I can do that. Do. Yeah. Rolling.
Yeah.
Way hey. Not too bad.
Where hey? No, nice. Okay. The walls, as I said, are brick. The mortar itself crumbling and falling out. The alley itself is actually quite clean. Maybe even gets swept every now and again. The area around the trash can, the big industrial almost size bin, is a bit grotty from things falling out of it. There's in a stark contrast to the last alley that you were in, it's actually quite clean. Quite clean, in fact. There is a fence to the back of it where the buildings are walled off, the alley is walled off from the other street. Words aren't working. This fence has been whitewashed quite recently, that you can see.
Okay, I'm starting to get a vision of the alleyway now. Whitewashed quite recently. Okay, first off, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to locate where the body was deposited. Let's just go ahead and say. I'm going to try to guesstimate based on the photograph and if there's any lingering, let's just call it evidence for the moment, since I want to keep down my lunch.
From the outside of the alley where you're standing, quite nicely obfuscated, you can just lift the photograph to your in front of you, as it were, and you almost see where the photograph has been taken. You take it away and the angles of the walls line up the same way, and you can pretty much guarantee that this, where you are standing right now, is where the photograph has been taken. And then the other one from the other side of the alley. So as you're coming in, one photograph is taking diagonally that way, the other one diagonally that way. You can quite easily cross-reference where the body itself was, and it's quite deep down into the alley itself. And once you actually go in those couple of meters and stand, if you want to, stand underneath roughly where the Vic would have been hanging, you'll notice that all you can see from the other side of the alley, from the street as it were, is just a tiny hint of light. The trash can itself shadowing and hiding this area quite well. And if any of you are still on the outside of the alley, you'll notice pretty much that he walks into that alley, 2 steps in, you just don't even see him. There's no lights, trash can hides, and the angles of the street just don't line up. It's like that's a little invisible spot.
Okay. Frank Green is going to go ahead and look towards the ground where the thing was handing, look to the grate, and see if he can't see or find any lingering samples. This is what he's going to do. He's going to go into his magical murder bag, go ahead and take a bit of a cotton sponge, actually, use a pair of pliers as well, and see if he can't scrape anything off the grating, as it were.
Right, seems legit. You'll have to stretch a bit to get up there, but we'll ad-lib that you do get up there by moving the trash can or whatever. The swab comes away with a bit of metal stuck to it, rust from the wire from the grate itself, but also a tiny bit of a tinge of red, but you can't tell in this light just yet, just from visually looking at it, whether it's just the oxidization on the metal or whether it's anything a bit more sinister.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put it into a plastic baggie and put it back into the bag. This is where I miss Mr. Thursday so much. Anything on the ground? Or I don't think there would be anything on the ground since they get swept so often, but I might as well take a look.
No, nothing on the ground. There's a bit of dust, limey. Chip
I
in.
was wondering if I could roll an investigation roll for around where the body was found. Anywhere somebody might drop something in, like the cracks, the crevices, the shadowed areas.
Mhm.
Can I roll investigation on that? Is that cool?
Mhm.
Can I spend the willpower for a success?
Of course, why not? You're looking very hard. This is your home turf. You don't want anyone mucking around in your home turf.
Exactly. It's unseemly, is what it is. Okay, right. That's 2 successes.
How rude. Alright, let's have a look. Alright, so we'll give you 2. You investigate and you have a bit of a look around. You see pretty much exactly what I've described to Frank. You see the grate, you notice the buildings. You actually have a bit more of a look at the architecture of this place, and you can tell that on one side of the buildings where the grate connects, the red brick actually stops about only about a palm above the grate, and then it goes to more modern style bricks. It looks like the underneath of this building has been built up on, like the original building is still underneath. And maybe that grate was a part of the original building somehow, somewhere, but then it just goes up.
New York is built on top of itself. It is.
Limey kind of looks up at the grate and where the red brick starts. He says, "Looks like this was built on New York recycling."
Frank makes the comment. It's a city that's been built on top of itself. Let me ask you a question. How in the world do you think this body got up here? He's pointing towards the grate.
Well, they either went over it at the end of the alley, or they went from the building. I mean, I assume, unless I'm wrong, and the grate starts somewhere you can climb up from in the alley. Does it?
Do you proceed down the alley to find out?
Yeah, but
Yes,
great,
of course you do.
yes.
Yes, of course you do. All right, you go to the back of the alley towards this whitewashed fence. The whitewashed fence has a bit of a gap atop it before the grate actually comes across. And again, you get that feeling of something old with something new built onto it. The fence itself being an ill fit to really plug this alley up. You've got not much, enough for a small person to squeeze through, and then the grate just ends. It's been sheared, and recently sheared. The end of the grate having still that metallic tinge when the rest of it is quite muted with age. Both of you roll me more investigations, please. This one's not very difficult at all, so I should just give it to you straight up, but we'll see.
Spinning willpower in this one.
Because there's always... come on, it's so fucking simple. The only way you can fail it is if you botch.
Fair enough. If you tell me not to do so, I won't.
It's up to you. It's your willpower, dude. Look at that.
I'll take your advice in this one, Blue. I'll take your advice.
Thank you, my good man. Limey, what are you doing? You rolling that?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I just want to see if there's this comedic, comedy of errors in a way of look at this blatantly obvious clue that you walked past.
7. I got 1 success.
All right, you got it. You got it. As you approach the whitewashed wall, the shadows seem to catch something on it, more than just the vertical panes of the timber itself shadowing in amongst themselves as the vehicles go past and the lights shine down from above it. You'll actually notice that something's carved into the timber itself. It's a very small carve. It looks like it was done with a knife, a needle almost, maybe a razor, you can't tell. But as you move closer and the shadows begin to bounce between the gaps of the timber and the new paint, you'll find a sigil. And do any of you have a cult?
I do not.
Please, 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 please,
Here.
please, 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 please.
I have no cults.
I do.
Yes, yes, we did. We brought the weird. We brought the weird Bruja. This is wonderful.
Lonnie kind of stares at the sigil and puts a finger to it, and he's like, huh, that looks
You
interesting.
trace it. Yeah, you trace the carve in the wood. It's not very deep, but it's quite fresh. The shards of the timber and the paint crackling outwards ever so slightly. And had you not
Take a
been
picture.
walking and your vision changing, yeah, take a picture. Good. You would have probably not even noticed it. Rose, you walk on up and you investigate. Do you?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is anyone
Which roll
doing
do you
anything
want?
strange discipline-y at the moment?
Not yet.
I'm
Besides the
gonna keep.
Allspecs,
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
read me
keep.
obfuscate.
Apart from obfuscate.
Yeah. Well, I
None?
always
Okay.
have my aspects on hearing.
On hearing, righto. Okay.
Yeah.
No worries. Okay. Nobody notices anything else. Righty dokie, Skip. Rose, please do me intelligence occult.
Mm-hmm. Already had it ready for you.
Thank you, my dear.
Oy. I hate ones.
Ooh,
But I have
That's a
one
high-
success.
that's a hikey roll if ever I've seen one. Okay, one success. It's a mainstream glyph. You've seen it before somewhere. At least that's how you're identifying it. You think back on the shape of it. It etches in your mind. You've got angles. You've got lines being drawn across a semicircular, almost C shape. The end of every line being ended in a circle. I should just draw it for you, really, shouldn't I? And you will recognize this sigil as one of the summoning glyphs within the original Book of the Mad Arab, the Necronomicon.
Whoa!
And the glyph itself looks very much like the Euro symbol, but I shit you not. This is really what it looks like. It's one of those ones. It almost looks like angelic script.
Anyone
I'm
actually
sorry.
see
Does
that?
anyone saw that?
No.
I will.
Sorry,
All right,
Lou.
I will put it. I'll put it on the page. I'm using my fattest marker too. All right, I'll put it on the page later on. Pretty much that's how you identify it. You identify it as one of the summoning sigils of a named demon within the Necronomicon.
Okay. Wow. Rose is just blinking as she recognizes the sigil. It's like, wow.
Question. Since I don't actually know, what is the kind of level of existence? What is the Necronomicon in the world of darkness? Because, like in our world, it's that
It's a Lovecraft.
plot device mentioned in Lovecraft, and Lovecraft is an author, and it's a popular gaming hobby, and I can go and buy a copy of eBay.
Justin,
Okay.
for your knowledge and information, there was an occultist named Alistair Huxley, I think, who actually made his own version of such. At least that's what it is in the real world. It is also what you say, just a plot device in Lovecraft books, but go ahead.
No, I was just wondering,
What
what is it?
Yeah, pretty much what he said. But I will link you. I will link you more. But yes, it is definitely an occult primer. It is certainly linked with almost with Kabbalistic magic in a way, in that you have got, again, a lot of angelic script, you've got a lot of folklore, the names of the demons holding power and being able to summon them into the real world in order to have them do your bidding for whatever. So it's not Lovecraftian, but certainly the Book of the Mad Arab, as it were. An occult text that exists in this world, and also in the world of darkness, because I said so now.
Fair enough. How is the sigil in? How is it marked in this particular place? Is it carved in, or is it written on? You did mention that the fence was at least whitewashed, I'm wondering.
It was recently whitewashed, and the sigil itself has been carved in with what appears to be a very fine knife blade.
Oh, okay. Tweezer, let's see if there's any slivers in there.
No, nice, strong knife. All you really get is bits of the paint, bits of the timber, and bits of what looked to be a horrible brown color underneath. So it was probably a dark rally before this was whitewashed.
I'm kind of scared of what I'm gonna do now, but I'm gonna see if I can get some aura reading off of this area.
Do it. I'm going to refill my wine glass.
I'm going to.
Spending willpower and rolling, Mighty area. What was it? 3 aura absorption.
You're going, okay, fair enough. I would have done something different, but
It's a start.
Okay. Alrighty.
Okay. That's 4 successes.
It is 4 successes. What do you, for the boys and girls at home, explain how Mythosteria works for us, please.
Okay. Basically, the aura absorption works as the spirit's touch from the Auspex, except for the fact that you do not read the aura, but you take it in yourself. So you literally absorb it. It works on objects, but it also works on areas. And yeah.
And you think this is a good thing to do in a crime scene?
Nope. I do not think this is a good thing to do in a crime scene. But if we kind of need information.
You reach out your hand to the sigil and you begin to just carve the letter around and around, and you carve the sigil in order to glean any kind of information from it. There's a stab into your shoulder. You feel it as though it was happening to you right now. You almost jolt back, but your fingers are all but glued to the sigil. Your body jolts back as the vision begins to hit you. The stabs to your body that you're feeling are absolutely horrendous. You want to scream, but you can't. There's a hand just digging into your esophagus right there. There's a little song. And then there's a scraping of something wet and fleshy against the top of the fence that goes between the grate, and you can feel almost from your back as though you are rolling over something hard, that you're being rolled over it. There's warmth emanating from your body, but you don't feel warm anymore. And as you're being dragged down and up, you catch a few times, and it's like running into a rose bush, but so much more brutal. And so, with the pain of the victim being channeled into you, the quite open eyes of the victim still capture glimpses of the alley down, and you can only see it really from a dangling perspective, and you realize that you're looking through the cold corpse's dead eyes of the victim, maybe not even through its eyes, but that's where your vision is being anchored. You're seeing the last few moments of this poor person as they are bleeding to death quite violently. The preparation to the body hasn't been done yet, but yet you know that this is only moments before Exodus. You look down and you see what looks like that wet look latex gloves that dominatrixes wear, but then you begin to realize that it is indeed black leather just glistening with blood and gore. And you see the same figure that you saw from the bleach canister, small slight. From behind, you can see long black hair, almost down to the waist, long, almost Asian looking raven locks, and that little tune again is being hummed, just that little one section over and over again. And the figure crouches to where you are now, extending your arm, and begins to carve that sigil with the blade, and then stands up. And just puts the blade in its pocket. And then we'll turn. We'll actually turn and look you dead in the eye from where your anchor point of vision is. But you don't see those blue eyes this time. No, it's wearing a veil. This person, now female, you can recognize, is wearing like a funerary veil. And it says quite boldly and loudly, "Go on and watch. A quintet will keep you entertained before my grand finale. I hope you can waltz because the dancing is very boring alone." And then the figure will just walk out of the alley. And you snap back to reality.
I think at this point, Rose will just topple over on the ground and. Wow.
She's not screaming.
Let's roll willpower to see if she's not.
Going down on her. Using all my animalism at the moment.
Do the roll first, Rose. See how you go.
What do you want? Willpower, self-control, courage?
Self-control?
Yeah, self-control.
Sorry, she asked you. Shit. Oh, wait, 7, good.
2 successes.
Alright. Explain your emotional state right now, Rose, as you clutter to the ground. This vision having just accosted you, not only mentally but physically also, as you can feel like the phantom pains of the knife blade still throbbing and then beginning to fade away. The scene is yours.
Rose, she's falling to the ground. She's shaking, literally shaking, whimpering. You see there are drops of blood just falling on the ground as she's definitely crying. Her mind is in a turmoil right now. She actually starts to hum this weird little tune that she has been hearing that's now like focus point of all the pain that she's feeling. It's coming from that song. That's important. She's trying to get it across to the others, but she just can't speak at this time as she feels like her tongue is swollen up into her mouth.
Frank's gonna do something stupid. He's gonna go ahead, kneel down, embrace the poor slobbering Kiyoshi, try to tell her it's all right. It really is all right. As behind his back, he's actually taking a few wet naps and wiping down the crying. If any of the drops go ahead and fall down, just going ahead and embrace her, trying to be as sincere as possible while really thinking, God damn it, don't leave a fucking mess.
As she just feels 2 arms around her, she just lashes out as she half still expects this woman to be there. As it seems as if she was watching her and not just the body. It was as if she was looking right at her.
Oops,
At this point, okay. At that point, can I please get Limey? You wanted to see if you recognised the tune, didn't you?
Yeah, that's okay.
Recognising a tune, that would
Memory or...
Well, we don't really have that stat. How about would performance intelligence?
Performance intelligence.
I reckon performance intelligence or potentially intelligent academics if you're studied in music.
Yeah,
I'm not
either one of those.
Spent a lot of time around it. And part of me wants to burn another will point because it's nearly the end of the week. He's going to think really hard if he thinks he can recognise the tune. So is that acceptable to you, or should I?
I don't see your dice, but 4 successes, you said?
Oh no, I have a dice pool of 4. I was wondering if I could, because if he's thinking really hard to remember the tune, if I could try and, if I could spend willpower so he can kind of try
of course, yeah, that's fine.
I've got plenty to spend.
No, use your willpower. I will just say when you are spending it. If I'm going to call bullshit on it, I'll do so before you roll.
Cool. Well, I didn't need to spend it because I got 3 successes without it, but 4 successes.
3 out of 4 is not bad, as Meatloaf said. So you recognise it as a classical piece. You obviously. It was hummed in a jazzy way, and that threw you off for a tiny bit, but you definitely recognise it as being. It's been in a movie. You've seen it before, but you can't put your finger on the movie where it was. But it's Chopin. It's one of his. It's one of Chopin's works. You'll have to go through your collection.
Okay. Limey you hear Limey humming the tune to himself. He's like, Chauffeur, it's one of Chauffeurs. I know that. What's that movie? I don't know. I definitely know that song. Chauffeur.
Song?
And
Yep.
that is a mystery that you'll have to investigate on your own. I will actually give you the song after the scene is done, and you can let me know what you find out. Because there's a bit of aura perception going on in the background, Rose, explain to us what your aura is doing at this current time. Are you terrified? Are you angry? Are you...
I was already starting to type it in the chat, but no. What? If you check her aura, it's screaming orange almost. It's like orange is like coming right at you. Let's see, subtle shifts. Yeah, there are pieces of let's see, a little bit of red, lots of silver. From time to time, you see a little black just shooting through it. And other than that, you can see that her aura has rainbow highlights in it.
Just cry into my chest. Just cry into my chest as I'm trying to cover up the blood. Taking one for the team.
Yes, Frank with his red shirt. Always ready with his red shirt.
And Goblin is happy that he has finally heard something beautiful. A Kia seed crying.
Alright. Frank Green is looking around, and he's wondering if there's anything left. There is the white wall fence, there is the grating. He's actually looking to the little Kia seed and just saying, what did you find out? We need to know. I know it's hard, but we need to know.
Rose is...
sorry, I forgot something. I forgot something. I'm really sorry, Rose. You also smell fresh paint in your vision.
Okay.
Now go ahead.
She's wiping her eyes a little as she starts to control herself a little bit more. She's closing her eyes for a moment as she's like, it really hurt it. It really hurt it. What did I find out? Oh my god, it hurt it so badly. I can't think properly.
Just go ahead, collect your thoughts. If you need to cry, go cry into a handkerchief.
No, I'm fine, I guess. By now. Stupid thing is, I was so busy on thinking of the aura, everything that's mentioned to me. So I'm gonna try and. I know that she was still alive when they started working on her, or she. This person that did this. I saw her again, same as the one with the bleach bottle. With black hair. It's almost Asian black hair. couldn't see the eyes. She was wearing a veil. She said something. She said that she was hoping that and at this point I honestly don't know if she was talking to me or to this corpse, was gonna watch.
Okay. I want you to go ahead, collect your thoughts, internalize them, make me a little bit of notes after this, after we're done here, okay? The memories are important, but we also need to finish the scene.
There was paint.
Going to the murder bag, taking some wet naps. I'm gonna actually go ahead and leave the little key scene to her own business and start to wet nap around the sigil, radiating outwards.
You're just wiping the fence, which is actually quite clean. So obviously somebody has already been doing this.
Paint, you say?
Okay, so the whitewash goes ahead and washes off the paint, doesn't leave anything behind, and it doesn't cover anything up.
Well, no, this is, I mean, you know when you enamel paint a fence? Wet wipes aren't going to take enamel off.
Fair enough. That just means we need to go ahead and see if we can't chip this paint off, or at least experiment with chipping it off. I'm actually going to look to the other two and say,
Limey kind of, as he mentions chipping the paint off, Limey kind of goes, oh, and he rummages in his jacket pocket and he pulls out the handle of a switchblade, which he pops open with a click. So,
goes ahead and takes it, if you're offering.
Yeah, Limey he's sort of handing he sort of like flips the blade in his hand and hands it to Frank Green.
All right. Before he gets started, he looks over to everybody and says, "Do we have any paint thinner? Do we not think to bring it? You know what? It's always the one thing you don't bring." Gonna start chipping off the paint, or the whitewash if you can.
Roll Dexcraft.
Dexcraft, okay. Oh my god, I can't believe that I actually did it. I remembered to put it on there. Holy crap, that's awesome. Okay, can I buff up my Dex by 2 points?
If you like, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just add lever that you start sort of carving at this, and then you begin to just chip the paint off quite brutally until you get to the timber underneath. You know there's a layer of paint underneath, and you go, oh crap, I might want to be a bit more delicate with this, and then you buff your Dex, and then you make me that roll.
All right. Spend a willpower on this. Oh my god!
Bam.
Look at the successes. 1, 2, 3, 6.
Beautiful. You dig in to the carved C of the sigil, where you actually lift the paint, the white paint, and then because the underneath hasn't been primed, the paint just begins to lift like a what should we say, like paint with water underneath it. You begin to peel it back, almost like a layer of paper mache, leaving underneath exactly intact as it was written, the wording. And the wording is written just in black felt tip marker. And it infuriatingly reads, "The children of the night, what sweet music they make, how many instruments to an orchestra, how much spectacle to make them unforgettable." And then a smiley face.
Climbing takes a photo.
Click, 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 click. Documenting with a disposable camera. Looking at myself.
Mm-hmm.
Can I actually take a sample of the felt tin marking, maybe a little bit?
Make me a intelligence check. Just intelligence straight.
Right.
Actually, no, you've got common sense. I'll just give it to you. This should not be seen by anyone but you guys.
Oh, no. I'm very, very certain about that. just gonna go
Take
ahead
the whole
and
freaking
I'm
lot.
taking it all off. I'm just going ahead and saving one little piece for myself and putting it into my evidence bag, also known as the magical bury bag, also known as duffel bag of death.
Murder, yes. So the first layer of paint peels off, the white of the sigil peels off, and underneath you've got that murky brown, often graffitied thing underneath, and beneath that you've got the raw timber. Once you scrape it off, you see the words written there, and you realise that you can't leave this there for anyone else to find. You just begin to dig in underneath the old coat of enamel paint until the timber itself is revealed, and you pull the entire thing off. So you've got the entire sentence, the smiley face, and plenty of samples for you to work with. So I'm just going to fast track that there. And you do indeed pop that into your duffel bag of murder. And what are we doing now, ladies and gentlemen?
Well, Frank Green has done a lot of actions. If anybody else wants to do anything.
Yes.
Limey will sort of extend an open hand towards Green and sort of look at the switchblade.
Goblin already has the sweet memory of a Smurf's tears.
Thanks, honey.
I'm sure there's a humanity role in that somewhere. I just need to figure it out.
So this is how I get my humanity.
Fair enough.
I think. Is there anything worth rolling that might help discover something we haven't already? I really can't think of anything. Maybe a bit of streetwise, I don't know.
Well, I could try one thing, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to work.
It's worth a go.
Well, I will activate my face sight, which allows me to see all magic flows except undead magic.
Mm-hmm.
It's got barley written all over it now.
So arcane energies of, let's see, how was it? Well, basically anything except ghost or vampiric magic. So I guess I won't see anything because I'm pretty confident that this was vampiric magic, but
Just try it. Just try it. At least we can, knock something off. At least it's not one of the weird things that happen in this city.
Yay, it's not weird, huh? No, I've activated it, and Rose just looks around the alleyway.
And you are quite correct in your assumption. Blue is not trying to frame the demons for this. There is nothing.
Yay! Oh, shit.
Frank Green has his samples. Frank Green is looking to the other members of his party. Frank Green is saying, anything else?
Let's see.
Oh, sorry, you were going to say something.
No, go ahead.
Just for sake of argument, Limey's just going to glance around the alley with an air of streetwise about him, and I'm going to make a perception streetwise roll, just in case anything missed hiding in the alley.
Legit, do it.
10 and a 7. That's 2 successes.
Mm-hmm. The alley is too fucking clean. Even after the cops have been through, it's too clean. There's someone that comes through and sweeps here. Maybe it's one of the old ladies that lives in the apartment blocks that wants to keep their place tidy. Maybe it's a hobo that lives there. Maybe there's a street sweeper like the last one in New York that still comes through and sweeps. But it's just too damn clean. You know New York. You know Harlem. Here is strange, not just because of the murder, but something here. It's too clean.
Limey kind of sort of takes his hat off and sort of pulls a cigarette out of it. and sort of stares up and down the alley. This alley's far too clean. You know? I mean, don't get me wrong, right? You know, cleanliness next to godliness and all that, but this alleys aren't clean in New York. This place has been recently swept through. I mean, I don't know if it's a local vagrant who likes to keep his area clean, or if it's one of the old ladies in the flat above here. I don't know, but something about this whole thing, it's just off. Alleys don't come this clean.
All right, Limey, do you have any contacts within the area that actually do this kind of service, or do you need somebody with a much smaller, close to the ground perspective? And when he says that, he's actually lowering his hand down all the way to his ankles.
Well, see, the thing is, Mr. Green, I could ask some of the local homeless, and they'd get back to me within the next couple of days, and I'm sure they could tell me who keeps the alley so clean. But I think your solution might be more immediate. You dig?
Dig.
Shall I?
Actually, yeah, go ahead. That seems perfect for you.
I'll use animalism to let's summon mice, and using a willpower for it because my dice pool is so pathetic. Well, that's 2 successes. So 1/4 of the mice within earshot.
Okay. The runoff grates that let the water trickle from the street into the city become alive with a multitude of tiny flittering pores that pour out of it. And this little stampede, shall we say, of small rodents just scurry up to you. Quite in a militaristic fashion. It's like the rank and file, waiting to take your orders. If they had little shields, they could probably do the Roman turtle maneuver. They sit pretty much just looking at you expectantly.
And Goblin will just crouch down, even lower, just placing his hands on the ground. Then just inclines his head towards the mice. Now, my little friends, do you know what kind of a thing cleans up all the juicy things from the ground as he uses feral whispers on them?
You can hear the clicking of the claws on the pavement quite adequately with your increased hearing. You can hear them turning to each other and squeaking at each other, almost in a multitude of voices. It's like asking a football stadium of people one question and having them all answer at the same time. So you can't really make out too much more.
He'll smack his hand on the ground and then point down to the one that makes the largest noise. The one with the biggest lungs. So you answer.
Okay. There's that reverberating smack of flesh against the pavement. It's like, stop it! You answer! And the scurrying stops. The fur against fur rustle stops. And just there are 2 little scrapes as the mouse would step forward that you can see in your mind's eye. Steps forward and looks up at you, even though you can't see it, and will just squeak at you. Yes, she cleans. She cleans and she puts it in a pile, and we get rid of it. We like her.
Yes. Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? Does she sleep here?
She lives in the door.
and Goblin will incline his head, just feeling the emotion and the
The rat is looking at a front door.
and Goblin will
The
pretty much
mouse.
just
Mouse. Yeah.
Goblin will click his tongue a bit, and then point at the door. There's a cleaning lady here.
I'm sure she's a cleaning lady. She could just be a resident.
Well, a lady who cleans the place.
And
She dumps everything into the trash.
so where's the trash heap?
And Goblin will go back to the mice. Just now, my little friends. Where does she bring all the goodies to?
She has sticks, small on big stick. And it helps her. She moves it all with the sticks. And she moves it from the back to the front, where we live. And it goes down, and it falls on us. And we are happy.
Oh,
Well, let's go to the den then. Come on, my friends, let's go see this.
Squash us.
And the rats will actually take you to the grate of the alley, and through the descriptions that you're getting of this animal, you realize that the lady just starts at the back with a broom and sweeps forward and sweeps it all down the grate in the front of the alley, which connects to the street.
And he'll click the grate with his closed fingertips, and then motion for green. Can you see anything down there?
Oh, and looking to Goblin, still, hidden, right?
You're
Yeah,
pretty much... Okay, no, go on.
He keeps everyone obfuscated, but I think they see each other.
No. I'm just saying this in character, just so that I know.
Yeah. No one will see us. Just don't make too much noise.
Gotcha. Frank Green takes off his sunglasses, goes ahead and blasts his eyes of the beast, and looks down into the crate.
Down in the grate, you can see what looks to be just your normal sort of a sewer system, runoff. But over to the side, there's a couple of bricks that are missing from the original architecture, and inside it there is many little moist snouts with whiskers twitching, and it's obviously the start of the den. So again, it just looks like the woman sweeps the alley, maybe a bit around the side, sweeps it down the grating of the drain, and the rats then just pick it up what isn't washed away and drag it into their little nest and hidey hole.
This is gonna be a dumb idea, but let's just reach in and try to grab anything. I'm so gonna get some body parts, aren't I?
No, you reach in and you get a mouse bite your finger. And it pretty much swears at you like a hobo would. This is my place, what are you doing? Look out! I've got my children in here!
And he's gonna get a mouthful of Nosferatu Vitae.
And he'll stop swearing at you.
Yeah. Now, is there anything down there that you can't eat?
No.
Fine.
The mouse sort of twitches and goes, lots of things can't eat, but we try.
Oh.
Okay. I'll give you more of the good stuff. Just bring me everything that you can't eat.
Over the course of the next 3 hours, the mice will come up with empty chip packets, bottles, pretty much anything that isn't organic that they can't chew on. But nothing of
Yeah.
interest there, just bringing up a lot of garbage.
Yeah. He'll just get a bag, put everything in there, then when it's finally done, Goblin will just bite into his hand and just bleed some blood into that drain, into the swarm of mice,
A swarm of
and just
mice
lick his
crawl
hand.
over each other, lapping at each other and licking each other, trying to get as much of it as they can as soon as they begin to taste it.
This is not the power of the gangrel.
This is the power of the Nosferatu. Yes.
Fair enough. I again look to my compatriots. I look at Limely, and I simply say, "Is it worth investigating the woman who cleans? If so, do it."
I think it's worth investigating. But, the real question is how we find the woman who cleans. I
Knock
mean,
on the door?
I assumed it was like an apartment block. Am I wrong?
Yeah, it is like an apartment block. You've got a little buzzer with all the different names. Well, every single name has a buzzer which buzzes the apartments above, and then one of those little electric buzzy locks that opens the front door from each apartment.
Look for the doorway, which is the cleanest.
They're all one door, mate.
Inside, of course. Just, well, if she cleans like, well, religiously, there's usually scrape marks left in there.
I'm sorry, I must have missed out on something, but did we discuss the possibility that this could be the same as the woman who murdered, as in the previous murder? There was also a lot of cleaning involved and bleach.
Well, I believe the woman who's cleaning here is attending here and just has been cleaning for years.
Okay.
Okay. Margot, can we get inside the door, or do we need to buzz?
Yeah, we'll fast track getting inside. Why not?
Like pick the lock, or just doors left open, or...
Honestly, it's more of a door just by name, not really by function. It's old. Almost looks like it's part of the original building, so there's nothing really stopping you just getting a flexi credit card and just popping the lock quite easily. So you go on, you get in, you've got the stairwell going up, you've got the old style elevator, horrendous tiles, which again look like they're original. Part of the building. The walls are also freshly whitewashed, but make of that what you will.
Are there any tiles outside these various apartments that look like they've been recently scrubbed?
You go up to the top via the stairs and just work your way down. Just checking at every single door, and you do find one that's a tiny bit more clean than the others. On the... No, you won't find that just yet. Okay.
Okay, can I make a perception roll?
You can.
Thank you. One success.
Okay, you found the door, pretty much.
Okay.
The door jamb is clean. Again, you run your finger across the top ledge, the front facade, the cornicing, as it were, around the door, and nothing. It's like the one place that nobody ever cleans is clean. The door is scrubbed, although there is the telltale marks of wear on the handle that are just inevitable with age.
Okay. I'm going to ask, is anyone with me when I'm in here?
I guess I guess we'd keep together so I can keep the office gate going on all of us. But like, we'll keep hidden if you want to speak to someone.
I was wondering, if somebody might go downstairs and check the name on the buzzer, I'm going to try something.
Fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, let's let Rose do that.
Mm-hmm. Smart. And she will walk down the stairs, check for the name. That's with the matching number.
I've muted myself, haven't I? God, I'm an idiot.
Yes.
Okay. That's okay. I just had a bit of a swearing session because I couldn't actually think of the name. I didn't give this woman a name. All right. Her name will be Rebecca Hardy, but the spelling is, let me just write it for you. How is that spelled now? Like that. Rebeekah.
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca, second name?
Hardy.
Hardy.
Hardy. Yes, Hardy-Y.
Okay. Alright. Right, okay. I'm going to say to everyone, to make yourselves a bit scarce. Can I give Sam a go?
I'm gonna do something first. I'm gonna listen in if she's actually awake at this time of the hour.
You hear a television going. You can hear, yeah, just the television nattering away in the background, voices. You also hear little squeaks and little scurrying.
Also really thin here, so be careful. And Goblin will slip off.
Okay, Limey kind of straightens himself up, and takes half and hands it to another member of the party, and kind of scrapes his hair back, and kind of makes himself look generally a bit more presentable.
Takes the hat, put it on his head. He looks nice.
Limey kind of
Jackass.
looks a
With
bit
his sunglasses. Fucking Frank Green, the hipster.
Walking out of sight, by the way, because it wouldn't be a smart idea if she would bump into me.
Limey knocks on the door.
Nothing.
I knock louder.
But still nothing. But the television's still going. The scurrying has stopped, though.
Hello. Harlem PD, open up. It is by district, isn't it?
No, nothing.
Alright,
You can hear the
okay.
television. Goblin can hear that the scurrying has stopped, but that is all.
Okay, I'm not getting anything from her. I'm thinking about going in and having a look. But can somebody can anybody check out first whether she's actually in there or alive in there or
I'll check if I can hear breathing, but just get the door open first.
I might be able to check without the door being open, but it's, yeah. I'm not quite sure if you want that.
Alright, yeah.
Looking for Nosferatu. Do it.
I'm gonna knock really loud, quickly. Like just bang, bang, bang. Right.
But nothing. You do, however, get a call from the other end of the hall. Can you keep it down, Rebecca?
Limey says nothing but gives a sideways glance at the end of the room. Corridor, sorry. Alright. Somebody want to get this thing open?
Let's roll for it. Dex larceny.
Yep.
2 successes.
You get the door open, and you smell burning. Not toast burning or cooking burning, but flesh burning.
Yeah.
Limey kind of pulls a small caliber pistol from his waistband and kind of tucks it into his grip as he
Yeah.
just step into the room.
Goblin will listen in using aura perception and pretty much all his aspects to try to any sense of living in the inside the apartment.
Oh, and Limey
You
extends his hand towards Green for his hat.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm blind, so my aura perception comes out of my hearing.
okay? Your hearing, your acute hearing, can hear hundreds of tiny lungs breathing. And the mice that didn't get summoned beforehand are obviously up here. You can just make out snippets of their little animalistic conversation, saying, "It's the woman. The woman always brings us food. Always brings us good food. Now she's bringing greatest food ever."
Oh, this is gonna suck.
Don't go in there. Don't go in there.
Frank Green is going in there.
Limey's stepping in there. He sort of, like I say, he pulls the pistol and kind of steps into the room.
It's time to put on the sock mask and walk in there.
Limey takes his hat off and pulls his collar up and pulls the hat down low.
Obfuscation is nice, but don't depend on it all the time. As Frank Green is going to go ahead and enter the room, the smell of burning flesh quite perturbing him. He realizes he's going to see something, isn't he?
He is, and it's going to make his faith in humanity plummet even more. The door opens and the smell accosts you properly. It accosts you in such a way that you almost feel physically ill if you inhale to take it in. The scene before you is of a woman, an old woman in an armchair. She's wearing a floral dress. She looks like she still has a good amount of dexterity and strength about her. At least she did when once she was alive. A woman that keeps herself active, albeit living alone in a city that does not care much for those elderly and alone. In her eye sockets, the smell of the burn is evident, as what it looks like is two metal spoons that have been heated up and pressed against the sockets. They've sunk into the cavities themselves with a tiny bit of age and pressure as well. The silver handles, reflecting quite morbidly the moonbeams and shining them like mirrors onto the ceiling. Beneath her, there are that multitude of mice that I spoke about, and they look like they've been feasting on her. They look like they've been feasting just on her extremities and her soft parts. The woman's mouth has been gnawed away, her lips not even there anymore, just the jaw open in that macabre grin, the tongue having been also removed, and who knows what else is going on and down that throat.
Definitely a gruesome sight.
But it's nothing compared to the multitudes of eyes that turn to you all as you enter. And from just a casual conversation that the mice have been having with each other about food, one mouse begins it and says, "New people, they want our food. Maybe we should stop them. Are there enough of us? I think there are. They want our food. We can't let them have it." And here you get stampeded by about 200 mice.
Fuck's sake.
Frank Green is going to go ahead and stand in front of the swarm, go ahead and take the bulk of it, and just simply say, "Leave now!" to the rats.
Roll it.
Also spending a willpower on this. Manipulation? Animalkin?
Yep.
Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4.
The incisors glistening in the moonlight, in the street light, in the television light, and these little bodies bouncing to get towards you, just in a cascade of fur and teeth, halt as quickly as they stopped. And again, it begins like Chinese whispers, one to the other. I don't think they want our food. No, we should leave them alone. Yes, I think that's a good idea. I'm scared of that one. That one's scary. Yes, no, he doesn't want our food. He's big and scary enough. He could eat us. I don't think he's eating us, so maybe we should leave him alone and we can go back to our food. Yes, I think that's a good idea. Let's go back to our food. We should bring some home. Yes, we should take some home. That's a great idea. Let's take some home. And then they just go back to the body.
The feast.
Mm-hmm. Feast of rats.
Right.
So
I'm gonna take a few
undisciplined.
pictures of the crime scene while we have it, and I know for a fact that we just fucking broke in. Fuck.
Yeah, we did.
Any signs of a struggle?
Yeah, I'm rolling an investigation.
I'm just going to give it to you. There isn't any. She's just sitting there. The television's on in front of her. Underneath her hand, you can even still see the remote control. It's like she just...
Why would somebody kill this old lady?
I don't know. We don't really have time to question it. We need to go. We need to go now. We attracted a lot of attention. We just broke into this woman's house. We're going. We're gone.
Look, not being funny, if there's anything we can find out, I mean, this lady, she seemed like our lead. I mean,
Fine.
If you don't want, I can give you a common sensor.
yeah, sure.
How was... Okay. Oh, you're doing your trick again. That's your magic trick?
Yep.
Detecting magic? No. You
No,
don't
no,
get
no,
anything.
no, not that
No?
trick. No.
Ah.
I don't need to roll for that. Yep.
Oh.
We're doing
Your eyes
that
are
trick
burning.
again.
Your eyes
Yeah.
are burning. Yeah. Your eyes are burning. And you hear that same voice and that same tune again. And the little musical voice, almost intertwined with the tune, this time still humming quite happily. Dum-de-dum, shouldn't have seen what you just seen. Maybe I should have taken your ears, but you are not eavesdropping.
Okay. Yeah. Rose just grabs her eyes. She is whimpering.
And the burn in your eyes still continues for a little tiny bit until, and you can feel this woman flailing again in your mind. Your body has become the victim, like the strongest emotion is hers, and that is the most recent aspect following. You can feel yourself flailing against this old threadbare armchair. Your television still in front of you, making the most ridiculous sounds as you're sitting there in absolute anguish, and then you feel a bite on your throat. And if you remember your embrace, you will know exactly what a vampire's bite feels like.
To be honest, amnesia. She doesn't.
Yes. You don't. But you can definitely feel a bite. And then you can feel that pulling of vitae out of your throat. And then a rough tongue just licking it clean. That humming still continues, even with the fangs in the neck that you feel. Just very, very gently in the back of the throat. And it continues all the way until you can feel the remote being placed under your hand and the body being arranged in the position that it's sitting now. And then the figure leans out of the window and looks down at its work. And again, you're seeing the wind chimes for a second time as this woman's apartment is right above the scene of the crime. And then the door locks and the humming fades away down the hallway.
Rose is just standing there, her hands pressed against her eyes. She's like, "Oh, fuck! It's the same. It's the same."
Rose, I expect a written up report, but later.
Please, yes.
Let's move.
We're going. We're going. We're gone. Frank Reed is starting to walk away. He's starting to direct the others to walk away with him.
And Goblin does the cleanup of shutting the door. Shutting the door and slipping out without any noise.
Yeah, Limey follows.
All right. Without much further ado, the lot of you pile out into the street. Some of you gagging, some of you maybe not really that fussed with what you just saw. It really depends on the things that you have seen in your own lives and the things that you have not, and
I've
perhaps
never seen, never will see.
oh, or smelled, or heard, or tasted, or experienced, like the tears of a kissed. Now then, we pile ourselves into our respective vehicles. Limey, you can see the van that you. I'm just wrapping up now, guys. You can see the van that you had parked across the street. You give your men a nod, they give you a nod, and just drive off after finishing their cigarettes. And we will just quickly extra this with Frank and Limey in the coal cellar. Again, each is given a drink by the bartender unthinkingly, and each will deal with it as they please, the others of the party dispersing as they see fit, or perhaps coming along. I'll leave that up to you guys in the next couple of scenes. But Limey, there's something on your mind, isn't there? Something that you were going to mention earlier.
Limey sort of sits quite quietly and contemplatively as Frank, like they've known each other a while. He knows Limey has his little moods and sort of does a lot of mournful shit. But it seems like quite pertinent. It seems like his mind's on something, and he turns to Frank. He says, "Tell me, Frank, have you heard from Elena lately?" Frank.
Frank Green goes ahead, takes his phone. Frank Green goes ahead, pulls up the number that he knows, and calls it.
No response.
You see, Frank, I've been thinking about Rose's little vision the other day.
Frank Green isn't paying attention to you right now.
Is he
Frank Green is
not?
walking away. Frank Green has a destination. Feel free to follow.
As Frank leaves, Limey, kind of looks up at him quite pointedly, and he's like, "What, you're leaving now? I've got shit to say to you." And he kind of puts on his coat again and gets up and sort of is hot on Frank's heels.
Talk to me in the car. Talk to me in the car. And walks out of the club. Goes ahead and gets into his own vehicle. It's actually a Jeep. Very, very outdoorsy, four-wheel drive Jeep. He starts it up. Starts heading out. He knows exactly where he's going. But please continue the conversation.
Limey kind of, as he gets in the car with Frank, he sort of waits until Frank seems to be driving and kind of a little bit more centered because he's getting a distinct feel that there's something epiphanic happening here, and he says, "Look, with the 3 eggs, I got a text from Elena that day saying the lights are off and our birds aren't coming back, so it looks like someone's home. The birds, eggs, do you remember? Cracked it open and there was a red eye and it turned to dust."
Still driving. Still driving. Still driving. Probably gonna take him a while, but he's not saying a goddamn fucking thing.
I know she was casing out Staten, and I don't know if that's what this is, but that girl hardly leaves your side. if you haven't seen her in a while, then all I'm saying is, well, what was the nature of what Rose saw and what Eleanor might have been up to? I'm getting a real bad feeling. Yeah, it's just like heavy, you know.
He's still driving. He's starting to leave Harlem and actually starting to exit Manhattan. He goes ahead and turns to you and says, "No, I know. You
So
you
like,
you you can leave the car right now. I won't stop you. It's just I'm gonna go somewhere."
I think, and Limey kind of looks longingly back towards Harlem, and then he sort of sighs and says, as he kind of rolls down the window, he says, "Would you mind if I smoke?"
Go ahead, smoke.
Oh Christ! And he kind of pulls out a packet and lights it. No, I think I'll stay in the car.
Fair enough. Continues driving. Continues driving out of Manhattan. He looks at his phone again. He calls it again.
Still no answer.
Right. Continues
And on
driving.
that cliffhanger, and on that little cliffhanger, I think we'll leave it. If you guys want to
Alright.
continue a conversation, jump into another hangout, because some people need to get to sleep.
Yes, of course. Sorry. See you again.
Alright then.
All right. Thank you, the players, for playing. Thank you, the watchers, for watching. And thank you to your minds and RL Humanities scores that I have just taken advantage of. It has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you again. And we will reconvene. In the meantime, figure out what you can. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.